I am Alberto Rodriguez.
My name is Hector Duran.
We are going to talk about pollution. There is a neighborhood near San Pedro Cholula which have been affected by the pollution due to the water. This causes odors coming from the sewer system.
People in Alberta have complained to the authorities because this is unhealthy for families and schools that are in the surroundings of a company called the US Cotton. As the city grows, we are facing new problems regarding pollution. We need to focus on all of these problems, not only in the most privileged neighborhoods, but in all of the city.
It's important to make the difference and begin taking care of the others in order to promote the benefits and the ethics of all as a society and not as an individual. US Cotton is a company which primary activity involves processes which dispose industrial waste such as caustic soda that causes damage in the health of the members of this neighborhood.
To carry out this project, we needed to know data like the flow rate of the sewer system. We got this data from the website of SWAPAP, which stands for Servicio Operador de Agua Potable y Alcantarillado de Puebla.
US Cotton Factory pollutes the drainage networks of the locality of San Pedro Cholula, according to a letter sent by the inhabitants of that place to the municipal president. The contamination is due during the process of whitening of cotton. The pollution is affecting the people's health, with problems as irritation in eyes, throat, skin, and stomach, and long-term adverse health problems such as gastritis, ulcers, headache, migraine, breathing difficulties, and heart diseases. There are schools, public and private institutions, which suffer the contamination due to the cotton factory. What we need to solve the problem is to compare the different possible solutions, to know the specifications of the sewer system of San Pedro Cholula, know the amount of waste thrown to the drainage and its composition, compare the levels of chemical contaminants with the levels allowed by the law, know the physical principles, flow rate, velocity, etc., that are involved in the sewer system and the wastewater.
Since we don't have the possibilities, equipment, and neither enough time to measure the amount of waste thrown to the drainage by the cotton company, we decided to compare this problem to another scenario that happened in Barcelona, Spain. Barcelona's case refers to a series of experiments that help to determine the best way to dispose the industrial waste of a cotton company in that city. In this case, the author M. Crespi and J. Segarra in 1980 emphasized the results based on various experiments and observations. After all the research, they found two possible treatments for the wastewater from the cotton company. These two treatments are biological purification by activated sludge and chemical coagulation. Some findings in their journal tell us that the bleaching and dyeing water have a more homogeneous decomposition, and they also contain heavy metals such as copper and chrome. This information must be taken into account in this case.
San Pedro Cholula's inhabitants complain about chemicals contained in wastewaters involved in the bleaching and dyeing process. Appealing to the journal of M. Crispi and J. Segarra, we came to the conclusion that US Cotton Mexico is mistakenly disposing of its wastewater. Therefore, our proposal to reduce the pollution that this causes is both the integral purification of all the effluents, as well as the installation of an electrically charged tubular membrane to carry out a process of tangential filtration. This filtration process will reduce the amount of solid and chemical contaminants contained in the water used during all the factory processes by separating large polluting particles from water by filter materials and the wastewater flow through the filter. Also, chemical residues such as heavy metals and salts will be separated from the water by electric charge that attracts this type of particles to the filter membranes. With this solution, the residual water that the company threw to the drainage could be reused in some processes of the same, or in its defect at the moment of throwing it to the drainage. This wastewater stopped generating the bad odors of which the population complained. Once the information needed is obtained from SWAPAP, there will be a few variables to analyze, such as the average flow rate, minimum flow rate, instant maximum flow rate, and the extraordinary maximum flow rate. With these numbers, we are going to be able to calculate the measurements required for the device in charge of cleaning sewage water. These variables are important. If they are not taken into account, it is really probable that the device will collapse as a consequence of the high pressure inside it, using Pascal's law.
One possible short-term solution may be get the flow rate of the disposals be smaller than the flow rate of the river. In first instance, this will help to the river to carry less waste when it's flowing. Obviously, that extra waste that is not being disposed into the river must be stored somewhere. Each company should have a deposit where they can store the total waste per month. For example, in that way the river's percentage of waste will diminish and the factories will need to store their own waste for a period of time. As the factory workers will be in contact with the store disposals, the company will learn the problems that the river carries. In that way, we will also make them reflect about how they are damaging the environment. There is no valuable reason that afford the idea of making money while the people is suffering due to the business. The rights and benefits of a business have an end when the rights of a person begins.